Hi, it's Bishop Mark. Today is Luke chapter 9, verses 28 to 36. And this section of Luke's gospel has a name. That name is the Transfiguration. Is that a big word? Transfiguration means change. So Jesus' appearance was changed. Now, it's important for the background of this story that we remember that Jesus is fully God and fully human. Right? So the people all see him. He looks human. He feels when you touch him. He is fully human. But we know that the things he's doing are not human. They're beyond human. They're like God-like. They're what we call divine. Right? Well, Jesus in this section is teaching the apostles who he is. And now that Peter has recognized him as the Messiah, he takes Peter, James, and John up a mountain, and he becomes his godlike, his divine self in front of them. And there's only 3 witnesses, and they didn't tell anyone. So this is until after he rose from the dead. So this was a private moment where Jesus has 3 people. Okay, let's read about it. About 8 days after he said this, he took Peter and John and James and went up the mountain to pray. Okay, so the 3 apostles are Peter and John and James, John's brother. They are the sons of Zebedee, right? So these are the 3 people who he allowed to see himself in his divinity. And so he takes him up the mountain. Now, the mountain is thought to be Mount Tabor. It doesn't say in the Bible what mountain it was, but it seems so logical when you go to the Holy Land and they point out Mount Tabor to you. I've been to the Holy Land, and Mount Tabor is this mountain in the middle of flatlands. So it just stands out. And with a car now and a taxi, you can get to the top of it. And maybe you'll go someday to see Mount Tabor. And it's also in the right position. Now, Jesus has taken the apostles on a journey, and some of this is brought out because of the other Gospels, but he's taken them on a journey, and now he's heading towards Jerusalem. So this is the perfect place so the mountain today, Mount Tabor, is in the perfect place. So we say it's on Mount Tabor where this transfiguration happened. And it would be a long climb. But he takes Peter, James, and John on this long climb. While he was praying, his face changed in appearance and his clothing became dazzling white. So these 3 apostles are watching him and he changes. That's why they call it the Transfiguration. He's changed. And he's like bright light, like he's a star-like. Right? He's dazzling white. Okay, that's how they see him. They've never seen him like that before. But that's how they see him. And behold, 2 men were conversing with him, Moses and Elijah, who appeared in glory and spoke of his exodus that he was going to accomplish in Jerusalem. So, as they're watching, 2 people appear. And they recognize them somehow, I don't know how, as Moses and Elijah, two of the most important figures in the Old Testament, right? Moses, who led the people out of Egypt, and that's called the Exodus. So he took the people out of Egypt into the desert to the Holy Land. It's called the Exodus. And Elijah, we've been hearing about Elijah. Elijah would come before the Messiah was revealed, right? Well, here's Elijah. Before it was just John the Baptist, well, that's important. But now Elijah actually comes. And what were they talking about? They were talking about Jesus' exodus to Jerusalem. In other words, it's time for Jesus to go to Jerusalem where he will die. And the prophets come as he begins this journey, his passage to Jerusalem. Okay. Peter and his companions had become overcome by sleep, but becoming fully awake, they saw his glory and the two men standing with him. So they go up to the top of the mountain. It's a long climb. They're tired. Jesus is going to pray. They fall asleep. But when they wake up, they're witnesses to this incredible conversation. The conversation of Jesus and Elijah and Moses. What an incredible thing to witness. As they were about to part from him, Peter said to Jesus, "Master, it is good that we are here. Let us make 3 tents, one for you, one for Moses, and one for Elijah." So Peter is bold enough to speak. And what he wants to do is he wants to build statues. They're called booths, they're called tents. It's a translation thing, but essentially he wants to mark the spot forever. Let's build 3 things here. You, Elijah, and Moses appeared here. Let's tell the world, in other words, by marking exactly the spots where this happened. So he wants to make this conversation famous, and everyone should know about it for all time. Let's build the tents, the booths, the statues right here so everyone will know. But he did not know what he was saying. I like that. It's a kind of they were in their excitement. They had no idea. Sometimes we say things in our excitement that maybe wasn't the right thing to say. And Luke kind of says, well, they didn't know what they were talking about. While he was still speaking, a cloud came and cast a shadow over them, and they became frightened when they entered the cloud. Now, in the Old Testament, Moses was able to speak to God, and God came as a pillar of fire, right, in the burning bush, and also came as a cloud. And so Moses was the only one allowed to talk to God. And now a cloud comes where Moses is, right? So God is coming in the cloud. It's an image for God. In the mystery, in the cloud comes. Then from the cloud came a voice that said, "This is my chosen son. Listen to him." Remember, God spoke before at Jesus' baptism? Well, God speaks again. And he says again, This is my chosen son. Listen to him. It's a message for all of us to listen to Jesus. He is the Son of God, right? And God comes in a cloud once again and speaks. This is very unusual in the Bible, but it happens that God speaks. And he says, this is Jesus. He's my chosen son. Listen to him. What a wonderful lesson for all of us to listen to him. After the voice had spoken, Jesus was found alone. It all ends suddenly. They fell silent and did not at the time tell anyone what they had seen. So we have this stunning scene where Jesus takes James and John and Peter up the mountain, and they see God in the cloud, and they see Jesus dazzling white talking to Moses and Elijah, but they're so overwhelmed with it that they can't put it to words. It's too much. So they don't tell anyone. Plus, Jesus didn't go for the 3 booths, the 3 tents, the marking spots. So it was just a memory that they had. How do we know? Well, because after Jesus rose from the dead, they must have told people. But at the time, they told nobody. Just 3 people who witnessed that mighty event. And now you've heard about it. It's called the Transfiguration. Isn't it stunning? We'll talk next time.